Hello, everyone. I'm Dan.
And I'm Riley.
And welcome to the next episode of That One Podcast.
We have another great episode, back-to-back weeks of talking basketball on That One Podcast. We're excited to be joined by Tipton's new head coach, Tommy Newton, and we break down what's been happening since he was hired back earlier this year, and then give an outlook for the upcoming basketball season. So it's definitely one that if you love Tipton sports, you're going to want to watch.
All right, let's get into the episode and see what Coach Newton has to say.
All right, Tommy, thank you for joining us. We're excited to have you here, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to hearing from you about Tipton basketball. So let's go ahead and jump into it and just learn more about your background. What's your coaching journey been like so far?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, Riley. I appreciate it, and I'm excited to get to meet everyone in Tipton and learn more about the town. But for me, I played soccer, basketball, and golf in high school. And my sophomore year, I actually decided to stop playing basketball. The very next day, my coach came to me and asked if I'd like to start coaching. I said yes immediately. I didn't know it was going to be second grade basketball, but that's where I got started, and that was the hook that got me into coaching.
Nice.
After that, my senior year, I coached eighth grade team. My freshman year of college, I coached freshmen at Harrison High School.
Okay.
And then in the last 4 years, I've been at Edgewood High School down in Bloomington as the varsity assistant there. Every year there, I learned something new about running a program, whether it be working in the feeder system, fundraising, scouting, practice planning. In that last season, I felt comfortable. I felt like, hey, I can run a program.
Yeah.
And that's why I started to apply and look for a job that I could have and where I could be a head coach.
Yeah, so what drew you to this opportunity in Tipton? Kind of what stood out about the program, the community? What really attracted you here?
Yeah, so the first thing I looked for is closer to home. We're from Lafayette, my wife and I, and we just had a baby, so we wanted to move closer to Grandma and Grandpa's.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was the first green check mark because this is an hour from Lafayette.
Yeah,
so that
much
really was
closer than Bloomington.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the first thing that got me looking at Tipton. And then I started to dig in and do some research. I looked into the team and how much success they've had in the past, and obviously that was a nice thing to see.
Yeah.
I looked into the community. I looked into the school. I have a family friend who's from here, Jane Calhoun. She was a great basketball player at Tipton, great coach. Now she works for the IHSAA. So I reached out to her, had some conversations, and she had nothing but great things to say. I reached out to Coach Hawkins. I reached out to the new soccer coach at Tipton, Levi Trageser, and both of them just had nothing but great things to say about the town, the community.
That's awesome.
The program, the history.
Yeah, Tipton sports is like the thing in Tipton.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome.
People buy into it. The community's great. The support's great. So it's a nice place to land. When you got that offer, the call, hey, we want you to be our head coach, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, not going to lie, I was very nervous. I had an interview on Monday and Thursday, and then on Thursday they told me they'd have a decision by Friday afternoon between 3 or 5. So, of course, I had my phone on me all day Friday.
Just sweating.
Waiting. Exactly. Yeah. Just waiting, checking it every second. So 3 o'clock hit, nothing. 4 o'clock hit, nothing. 5 o'clock hit, nothing. And my wife and I went to a dinner with some friends of ours, and I a little upset because I assumed someone else got it.
Yeah.
And I got a call at 6 o'clock. So I walk outside to be alone, and a little nervous, assuming they're going to tell me, like, sorry, we went a different direction.
Yeah.
And it was Principal Leach and Assistant Principal Lide, and they basically said, like, how would you like to be the next basketball coach at Tipton?
Wow.
Not going to lie, I did my best Tiger Woods fist bump. I was ecstatic.
Yeah,
So it's everything we wanted, my wife and I, as a family, and for my career, and just it feels like a place we can call home. So we were very excited.
And we were talking before this, you found a home too, so you're getting settled in right before the school year starts.
Yeah.
How's that been going?
It's good. I probably have paint on my glasses and my watch because we're doing a lot of projects and renovations before we move in, but it's going well. I'm looking to move in the next couple of days.
Awesome. And so before we dive into more about basketball specifically, you're also going to be teaching at the high school, correct? Can you talk about your position there, what you'll be doing? And it does kind of feed into basketball in a way. I mean, obviously it branches into more sports, but it does help your basketball program.
Of course, yeah. So I'll be teaching weights at the high school. I have four sections at the high school, and I have one middle school class. So I have about 90 kids in the high school and 30 kids in the middle school, and we'll be lifting every day. It's going to be an amazing thing for every sport in the school, because Tipton's had so much success without too much investment in that weight room from all sports. So I'm really excited to see what we can do and continue to help our athletes grow in all aspects.
That's awesome. You're stepping into a program that has a lot of tradition, has had a lot of success. How do you kind of approach honoring that legacy, that success, that culture? But, you're your own coach too, so you want to leave your own mark. How do you kind of approach that and balance the two?
Yeah, of course. Looking over the past 20 years, Tipton's the fourth winningest program in the state. Wow. So there's only 3 other teams that have won more games in that span.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a really cool statistic. But they've had 3 coaches in that time. So it's not like it's been one guy that's done it the whole time. Looking into it, I think keeping the tradition of Tipton basketball it's all in the players. These kids, every single one of them gives me everything they got every day. I think that's the tradition of Tipton basketball. I don't think it's necessarily winning or losing. I think it's what you see these players do each and every day and the work that they put in. So that's going to stay consistent because these kids love it. They bleed blue, and there's so much pride in this community. So I'll be able to bring some new changes, more on the X's and O's and philosophy standpoint. But I believe that the overall look and how these players work is going to be pretty similar. But the way we do it may be a little different.
Nice. Have you had conversations with Coach Hawkins? Coming to the position?
So he was very helpful for me this whole process, and he, I believe, just got his transplant, and he called me a couple of days afterwards.
Wow.
So awesome. That was very cool, and he didn't have to do that at all. So I'm very appreciative of that. But no, he's been great sounding board to talk to and ask questions about, and he doesn't overstep ever, and he lets me
that's awesome.
Find my own thoughts and create my own opinions, but it's nice to have him.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to the community around the program in general, that so many people are willing to be there and support you, but at the same time let you be your own coach. You're not going to be Coach Hawkins 2.0 necessarily, but you respect that legacy and the tradition that's been built around Tipton basketball.
Exactly.
How would you describe your coaching style, both on the court, in the locker room, and summer training? What makes you who you are as a coach?
I think a couple things for me. Number one, it's all about building relationships. I'm a big relationships guy. I want to get to know my guys, because if we're spending that much time together and I don't get to know them, it'd be a really long season. And these guys are awesome. All the 25 kids at the high school, and even through our camps and working with the middle school, I've gotten to know a lot of them, and it's a great community, and these kids are just great kids that they care and they listen. And there's a lot of things that you don't have to worry about with Tipton kids. So that's been a lot of fun. So relationships is number one. Number two, I love being efficient. I'm big on, if we can get all the work done in an hour, 45 minutes, why spend 3 hours doing it? And I think that's great for basketball, because it's such a long season. It's from really October to March. So more than 6 months. So I think being efficient and making sure I'm not burning these kids out is a really big thing. But that's how I would describe my philosophy. Now, during games and in the locker room, I can get a little fiery. I wouldn't say I'm a Dan Hurley or a Tom Izzo. I'm not going to yell and scream at the refs, because I can't control what they do. But I can only control what my team does, and if they're performing how I need them to.
Yeah.
And I'm big on adjusting. I think if you can't ever adjust, then you won't ever get past where you are.
Yeah.
So I think adjusting is a huge part of my coaching philosophy.
Nice. You talked about the season being long, starts October, coming into the position, you didn't necessarily, when did you officially get hired? Was it?
I think it was very end of April.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have had the summer to work with kids and stuff. But, what does this off season look like for you? And even as school starts, you'll probably get closer to, preseason workouts. Yeah. What does that look like in terms of training, shoot arounds, things like that? What's been happening with the team so far?
Yeah. So I got here. We had a couple workouts before the school year ended in May. Mm-hmm. And then June, we pretty much went full force. Yeah. We practiced every day, and we played 20 games in the month of June. Wow. My goal was, as the first year, getting them to play for me and see what it's like and see how games go, so that come our first game, the Pilgrim Cup in November, it's not their first time playing for me.
Yeah.
So we get more comfortable together. And it was a great June. You can probably ask most of the players at the start, it was a little sloppy. Our first game, we played a big 4A school, Harrison High School, where I went, and they were a solid program. So it was a little challenging, but I think that's good for us and challenging us all summer. Yeah. And then by the end of the summer, our last couple of days at a team camp in St. Francis, we were playing some really solid basketball.
Nice.
So it's been really good. It was a good June. July, I kind of gave them off a little bit. We had a couple workouts, but I have, I think, 75% of my guys play other sports.
Yeah.
So I want them to succeed in those sports. Mm-hmm. So my big thing is July, I let the football players go play football and the tennis players go do that, soccer players, to get ready for their season.
Yeah. I mean, that was going to be my next question, actually, is, how do you manage that? Because Tipton, especially, I think more than even some of the bigger schools in Hamilton County, kids are playing 3 sports pretty much all the way through their high school careers. How do you manage that with the kids without, again, getting them burnt out?
Yeah. No, I love it. I absolutely love multi-sport athletes. I think, like in high school, I played soccer, basketball, and golf, and I think golf made me a better soccer player, and soccer made me a better basketball player, and I stayed fresh. I was never in the same sport for longer than 6-7 months. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that, and really, if kids can win doing one sport, that helps them win doing another sport. Yeah. If they can learn to win under Coach Toll and under Coach Trageser and under the tennis coaches, then they can learn to win under me as well.
Yeah. Have you had a lot of? I know you mentioned Trageser and that him coaching that. Have you communicated with the other coaches? Talk about how this interaction works when there is a very quick turnaround for the football guys, especially.
Oh yeah.
Sectionals ends, and it's like boom, next week your practice preseason's already over. Yeah. You're in basketball practice. How do you manage that communication with the other coaches of the other teams?
Yeah, it's nice because most of us are in the school, so I see them daily. I see Coach Toll a lot, so that's been really good to be able to just chat with him and see how his team's doing. I love catching up on the other teams, and again, like Tipton wins it. I want Tipton to win everywhere, not just on the court. My goal would be I don't get those football players until they get past regional, semi-state, state. That'd be awesome. Be sweet. Because yes, I may have a couple less practices with them, but you can't replace going on a run like that.
That winner's mentality that they get from that's definitely going to transfer over and help all the younger kids on the basketball team, even stuff like that. Yeah. When you look at, or looking back, I know this is kind of more of a future question, or I guess it can even be applied now, is like, what do you want people to say about a team that you've coached?
Yeah. Well, number one, it's the intangibles for me. I believe in football you wear pads. I think in basketball you do too. The pads that I talk about a lot are being positive, accountable, disciplined, and selfless. Those are the 4 values that I build my team around, and I want people to be able to see that on the court, in the community, in the classroom. Mm-hmm. So my goal and my hope at the end of my career and end of every year is that people can look and say, no matter their record, they played to their highest potential. Yeah. And they did it the right way. They didn't yell and scream at refs. They didn't yell and not listen to coaches. They didn't get mad at each other. They stayed connected the whole season, and they worried about what they could control.
Yeah. talking about the community, that was part of your decision to come here, and the support. What does that support mean to you as a coach, knowing that it's not just the players' parents and stuff, but it really is, they fill that gym on game nights. What does that mean to you especially coming in as a new head coach?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing. I went to school with about 2,400 kids. So there wasn't really that big connection and big school pride.
Yeah.
The last place I coached at Edgewood, it's kind of a suburb of Bloomington. So again, doesn't really have that town feel to it. It was more of a drive-through town. So there wasn't a huge support system for the whole school. But walking into Tipton and having all students say, "Are you the basketball coach?"
Yeah.
And all the people I see at South Pole and when I stop at Quick Cup.
Yeah.
So it's really cool, and I appreciate it so much. And the players deserve it. And the amount of work that they put in all aspects on the court, for me, in the classroom, in the weight room, for other coaches, like they deserve to be recognized for their effort. And it's a great thing that Tipton does that.
Yeah. Season's still a few months away, but what is your outlook for this season? Any things that stand out? You've been coaching for a few months now. You've had time to meet and really develop those relationships. What does the season look like?
Yeah, we were kind of talking a little earlier, but Tipton has a tradition of having pretty much star players. Mm-hmm. You got Derek Elston, who plays at IU.
Yeah.
You got 7-footers. You got Mike Crawford. You got all these guys, Grady Carpenter, Nolan Swan, these guys that could put up 30, 40 points in a game. This year, I think it's a very unique thing because we don't just have one guy or a main guy. I think when you come to a Tipton basketball game, you don't know who's going to be the guy that has a great night.
Yeah.
Like one game this summer, we had 4 guys score more than 10 points in a single game in the same game.
Yeah.
So that's something that's very cool because then the other team has to think, who are we going to guard? Like, who are we going to stop? Because someone else steps up. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've learned throughout this summer. At the varsity level, we have 8 or 9 guys that any one of them can step up and be that guy.
Yeah,
so awesome. I love it. I think it's a great problem to have. The Pacers do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it reminds me a lot of the Pacers season this year.
Yeah, I'm a big Michigan State guy. They do it a lot. It has great success.
Yeah.
So, I think near the end of the season, it's going to be a positive for us because you're not going to have guys burnt out, tired of the way that we're playing because they're a big part of the team.
Yeah, definitely. Without giving away too much, any big plans for the season, not starting lineups or anything, but anything big, exciting happening as we lead into the season.
Yeah, I think, when I was applying for the job, I watched every single game from last year because I wanted to be prepared and basically know the team before I showed up.
Yeah.
So there's some things that I saw that are continuing and there's some that surprised me. But I think a couple of things that it's going to be a faster team. We're going to push the ball pretty quick up the court. I think defensively we're going to be very strong this year. We got a lot of guys that can just step up and guard. We got some great size and some great strength, and that's hard to play.
You're making them bigger, faster, stronger in the weight room during the day too. Yeah,
exactly. So I think it'll be a little different than what people are used to, but I also think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a creative way of basketball where the players have a lot of ownership over it. And this summer I used basically all of June to let them kind of play. Try to restrict them as least amount as I could. And then now we can start to refine that and kind of build a system around it.
Awesome. I'm going to hit you with some rapid fire questions. What's your favorite gym you've ever coached in?
Ooh, I'd say Orleans. It's down south.
I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, it's a tiny town, smaller than Tipton. 1A school. They just won state this last year.
Wow.
But we played there when I was at Edgewood this past year, and you walk down into it. It's a lower dome, all concrete. Awesome. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Kind of like Carmel's is.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's your pregame must-have? Coffee, playlist, thing you say, ritual in the huddle? What's your go-to?
Well, number one, when I'm leaving home, give my wife a kiss. That's always do that before a game. But then when we get to the gym, I kind of like to get there early before guys get there and turn on the music for them and just sit in my chair and wait for them to roll in. I think it's really cool to see the look on those guys' face and the excitement for a game day, and just make sure I greet every one of them before a game starts. I think that's important. And then finally, I like to have a team huddle right before we go out there and just say, hey, let's give it all we got. We're here. Might as well.
Awesome. One last question to kind of wrap things up. What would you like to say to the Tipton community as you kind of step into this new role? Change, like you mentioned, it looks a little different this year compared to the last year, whatever it might be. But what's one thing you want to tell the Tipton community?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Number one, continue to be Tipton. It's a great thing, and you guys have an amazing legacy here for supporting your teams and striving for excellence. We're going to do everything we can to represent you in a positive way. We're gonna work the Pork Festival and be there for our community. We're gonna do a service project as a team and help out this community. And everything is built on making these young men better leaders to eventually become parts of this community. So what I would say is I'm excited. I'm excited to show you what we got. I'm excited to have these young men ready to represent what this great Tip community stands for, and give us some grace. We got a tough schedule. That was part of what I changed. I came in here and I picked up some 4A schools and 3A schools because I want to challenge ourselves in the regular season. We've won 4 straight sectionals in a row, and that's amazing. I want to get past it. I like setting high standards and high goals, and I think in order to do that is to challenge ourselves during the regular season. So when we get to that regional game, it's not the best team we've seen all year.
No, it sounds very exciting. I'm looking forward to it, seeing what you can bring, mix things up, try different things, but continue the legacy of great basketball here in Tipton. So thank you so much for joining me today, having this conversation, and best of luck as the season starts.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Riley. Thanks for having me.